The American dream of home ownership isn't just fading, it's dying. But why? And what does that mean for you? Stick around, because today we're breaking down the data, the drama, and some real opportunities in this wild real estate market. Let's start with the simple question. When did buying a home become so unattainable? Back in 2000, the median home price was about 6 times the annual median income. Now, it's more than 8 times the national average, and here in Texas, it's even higher in some markets. Owning a home used to be the ultimate badge of stability. I mean, my own dad bought his first house for less than the price of a brand new truck these days. But now, with even more homes on the market, families are getting squeezed by those high prices and even higher mortgage interest rates. So let's talk numbers. Mortgage rates that we're seeing in the greater San Antonio, Texas area are hovering in between 6 and 7%, which is the highest in about 2 decades. But here's the kicker. Texas home prices haven't dropped nearly all that much. The median home price at the date of this recording is right around $331,000, which is just barely up from last year, which isn't bad, but buyers are still stretched thin. We are dealing with this all the time, especially with our relocation buyers. We had a client who moved down here from Chicago 3 months ago, thinking Texas was going to be a bargain. He was thinking to land somewhere between San Antonio and Austin, and he was completely shocked by the property taxes. A $500,000 home up in Austin that we were looking at was almost $12,000 a year in property taxes. They legit were almost 2/3 of his mortgage payment. Now let's take a look at the national picture. More people today are renting than ever before. The growth of renter-occupied homes is actually outpacing the owner-occupied ones. So before we freak out, is the dream actually dead? Or is it evolving maybe? Call it seasonality, but right now Texas is seeing a surge in the listings. And in some major metro areas, up over 30% year over year. But here's a plot twist. Even with all of these choices, many buyers are still sitting on the sidelines. Currently, sales are actually down 1.5% statewide. And in some metro areas, I'm looking at you, Austin, they've dropped nearly 20%. So check this out. I recently toured a rural property just outside San Antonio with a couple relocating from Houston. Yes, it was absolutely gorgeous, but the price per acre had jumped 50% since 2020, and yet the number of sales in the similar market had dropped by 60%. So listings in Texas hit 123,000 in April of 2025. That's up 53%. And see, prices are dropping, but not enough to make homes truly affordable for most families. The median home price for San Antonio is right at $297,000 as of right now. That's up just 0.5% from last year, but the inventory is way up, giving buyers more power to negotiate. I've seen it since January. Almost any transaction that we've been a part of has some sort of seller concessions going towards the buyer. So I want to break down some of the big barriers here. Obviously, the affordability. Home prices have rose up to 40% in some areas since 2020, but yet salaries are not keeping up. High mortgage rates. Locking in that home loan is the most expensive it's been in 20 years. Property taxes. No way to sugarcoat it. Texas property taxes are some of the highest in the entire country. Supply and demand. The new construction builders really ramped up during the pandemic, but now they're just tossed in with the rest of the other listings. So if you're like many other people watching this video and you're a first-time home buyer, you're gonna need a much bigger down payment than your parents did. And that's if you can even qualify for a loan in the first place. Listen to this crazy story. I got a buddy of mine, he's a firefighter here in the greater San Antonio area. In every subdivision he tries to get in where he wants to put his family, he's basically priced out. So now he's looking at rural land just to put a double wide home for him and his family. And as I covered earlier, even that's gotten crazy expensive. And like I said, more Americans now are renting than ever before. And the worst part about that, the rent's not cheap either. And here's where it gets really interesting. New construction is up 20% in some of Texas' biggest metros. We're talking Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio. All the while, rural land is still in high demand, even as the total number of sales really start to slow down. So now, all these production builders are really ramping up the incentives. I literally get emails every single week from all the builders throughout the state of Texas with a huge list of incentives, and we're talking crazy numbers, sometimes $25,000, $35,000, $45,000 credit towards an incoming buyer. It is insane. Just yesterday, I had some clients that are coming here from North Carolina, military relocation, bringing their family, and literally the first house we came in, it was $35,000 credit towards either rate buy down, closing cost, shades, drapes, outdoor kitchen, whatever they wanted to. they had the green light. And this is just something even a few years ago was absolutely unheard of. But here's the catch. Even with these awesome incentives, you're buying down an interest rate, getting it back to where the rates were during the pandemic. And that may just be for 1 or 2 years. And with the high property taxes, your monthly payment is still going to be a stretch. So right now we are seeing San Antonio and the rural market around San Antonio really shift towards a buyer's market. There just is more inventory and they're sitting longer. The average days on the market is anywhere between 57 to 87, depending on where you're at. After years of rapid growth, the prices are really starting to level out. But make no mistake, I'm not talking a crash here. The demand is still strong, especially with investors and out-of-state buyers. And now I'm thinking back to my client who relocated here from California in 2021. Within hours of putting my sign in the ground, I had a phone call. He saw the house on Zillow and they wanted to put in an offer sight unseen. And if you were doing any kind of real estate back then, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That whole entire era was crazy. But now, with companies calling their employees back to work, he's trying to sell. And I had to have that tough conversation with him that the market is no longer what it was before. The prices are really flattening out and buyers are really starting to negotiate extremely hard. But for the investors, it's still a good opportunity for you, especially the rental properties in and around San Antonio's Air Force bases and the medical center, where the rental demand remains very robust. Now let's throw some more fire on this. Texas is growing at a rapid rate too, with nearly 500,000 new residents expected this year alone. But the days of the double-digit price jumps, they're over. Most experts are aligning with a much more balanced market moving forward, with moderate price increases and more opportunities for the buyers. The builders are keeping up the pace, and more sellers are listing homes as that economic uncertainty fades away. So if you're thinking about moving to Texas, either buying a home or just investing in some rural land, now is the time to get educated, get pre-approved, and work with a team that knows the market inside and out. So here I have some tips for you. If you are a buyer, shop around. There literally is more inventory now than ever before, especially in recent history. Number 2, negotiate hard. Listings and builders are now more incentivized than ever before to move that house. And I would definitely consider new construction for the incentives, but just make sure you're paying attention to the HOA dues as well as the property taxes. Now, if you're a seller, pay attention to this. You need to price your home competitively. It does you no good to have those days on the market just accumulating week after week after week. And for goodness sakes, please hire a listing agent that knows what the heck they're doing. Make sure there's professional photography. They either virtually stage your home or they have your home staged, because now presentation matters more than ever before. And even if you have amazing properties, just like we do, where the presentation is perfect, days on the market still can add up regardless of how hard your agent is working. And for those investors out there, I got you. Focus on the areas with strong rental demand. So like I said, in San Antonio, you have the military area, you have the medical center, but other cities have their main areas too. Austin has their tech areas, Houston has their deal, Dallas has their deals. Have your agent focus on those areas. They'd really be able to help you out get into that best position possible for that great investment opportunity. And here's gonna be maybe a surprise one for you. Watch for deals on rural land, because sales volume is starting to slow down like we talked about, but the prices remain high. You never know who's gonna drop the price, and you may be able to snatch a deal really quickly. We have helped dozens of families and investors navigate through the shifting market. And it's true, we've been able to help some of them get that dream home, and others build generational wealth through smart investments. So what's the key? Data, strategy, and a bit of patience. Look, at the end of the day, the dream of home ownership in America isn't dead yet. It's just changing. It's about finding the right fit for your family, your finances, and your future. And like I say all the time, sometimes the best opportunities come when things look the bleakest. So I hope you got value out of this video. If you want to buy, sell, invest anywhere in Texas, my team's got you covered. Scan the QR code right here. We can get in contact and start that process. And check out this video I have right here of one of the most amazing modern farmhouse designs we have in the greater San Antonio area. And again, the American dream isn't dead. We just need a new blueprint. Catch you on the next one.